About 15 years ago, George Shultz and Bill Perry and Sid Drell and Jonathan and Monica and several of us started praying once a month. We've prayed every month for 15 years. So then we had a prayer that we said at the beginning of every session, so that became our nuclear prayer. And we decided, well, why don't we call August the 6th Nuclear Prayer Day, and last year we started that, and people from all over the world joined in with their prayers, and now we're building on it. Jeneth, who's here someplace, she's working on that right now. In addition, this is a little bit off to the side, but germane. We wanted to make sure that young people got the message, and young people brought their energy to all of this. So 4 years ago, we started a youth award. Mikhail Gorbachev and George Shultz came together with us in our group, and they added their legacy to this. So it's the Youth Award legacy of George Shultz and Mikhail Gorbachev, and we are today, on this day, announcing the fourth winner of that. Beforehand, up to now, we've been honoring young people who worked with a large agency over here and a large agency over there. But this year, we're going very grassroots. And I will announce the winner of it. This year, it's Yogev von Kundra. And he's from Tennessee, obviously. Yogev is a young farmer in East Tennessee using ancestral wisdom, natural systems, and perennial polycultures to farm 10 acres of vegetables and fruits and raise cows and goats. And as a registered behavioral technician, he teaches skills to autistic young youth hoping to make tangible improvements in their lives, environments, and families. Historically, now, I want to give you some background here. Historically, East Tennessee has a deep history regarding nuclear weapons. For instance, nearby in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, in 1945, the Y-2 National Security Complex was created and became part of the Manhattan Project for the purpose of enriching uranium for the first atomic bomb. Today, there are plans to modernize Y-12, and local community peace activists have, since 1988, carried out peaceful protests against the work and see it as integral to the global nuclear threat. In the spirit of peaceful protest, Yogev led a first ever rally against the bomb outside the Erwin, Tennessee courthouse, where the Nuclear Regulatory Commission was meeting recently. Also on Earth Day, he talked about the weapons of mass destruction to lots and lots of young people, and dozens of children made their origami peace cranes. Yogev said, "With respect to my elders and mentors, I walk in their footsteps and put my hope in youth like myself to carry the torch of progress together." So today I make the announcement that the fourth winner of the Youth Award, named after Gorbachev and Shultz, is Yogev von Kundra. Thank you. Now, I've got a lot to say about prayer and nuclear weapons, but I'm not going to talk for very long. You can applaud now. I have a friend, General James Mattis. He and I gave a symposium not long ago at Stanford University talking about peace. A bishop looks at peace and a general looks at peace. What do we see? How do we get there? What's your domain? What's your domain? Where do we overlap? He's a very interesting fella, James Mattis. In Bob Woodward's book, Rage, he cites a day with Mattis as the Secretary of Defense when the President of the United States was meeting with the National Security Team. They were talking about nuclear weapons, where they could be used, what would happen next, and what would happen next. And James Mattis sat there and he listened to the conversation, participated in the conversation, and when the conversation was over, he got into a car. He drove in Washington, D.C. up to St. Albans Hill. He went into the National Cathedral. He knelt down in the Bethlehem Chapel and he prayed. Secretary of Defense, nuclear weapons. Knows what's going on, so he prays. A couple of years ago, I wrote a child's nuclear prayer, which was not really for children, but about children. And it goes like this. This is all I'm going to say. In St. Petersburg, Russia, a little girl kneels down by her bed at night and says a prayer. In St. Petersburg, Florida, a little boy kneels down by his bed and says a prayer. They say the same prayer. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. What could possibly cause the death of a Russian child and an American child at night as they sleep? The answer hovers over their beds in the dark, whirling around the world and aimed at them. Nuclear weapons. The nightmare that promises that a child could die before I wake. The children will never see the bombs. The warheads are hidden in submarines underwater. Some are underground and unapproachable, but they're real. Practically invisible, but they are part of the secret and dark universe that has been created to destroy those children and a lot of the world and maybe the world. In the name of security. Destroy it all in the name of security. Almost unimaginable, nevertheless. Imagine. Imagine a nuclear torpedo designed to create a tsunami wave so high that it could contaminate the enemy's coastline cities with radiation for wide stretches. Imagine 27,000 miles in space, there's a little satellite the size of a school bus, which is the nuclear watchtower in the sky. Imagine a general flying around in an airplane called Looking Glass, armed with a go code to launch all nuclear weapons, all of our nuclear weapons. Imagine the President of the United States having minutes to decide whether to obliterate life as we know it, and then flying off in an aircraft called Doomsday. All this is true. We adults seem so childish playing with such evil beyond any scale of morality or common sense. Someday, it is possible to blow up the last children on earth. And we are building the weapons to do just that. Yes, the children in each St. Petersburg should pray as we do. Then again, maybe the two St. Petersburg children will wake up praying. Now I rise to face the storm and fight for children yet unborn. May I awake before I die and banish nukes and clear the sky. Forced to live with nuclear weapons dangling over our grandchildren, prayer is a legitimate choice for us because the only real deterrent to nuclear weapons is the God of life, whom we are invited to follow.